Hi, it's Wasabi. Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a review of the second of the new Yo tanks in the heavy line on the US side. This is the M2Y, and it sits above the Porlac, and the next one is the M3Y. So this is tier 7, and let's have a quick look at the modules. So the standard gun is the 90mm M41, but it's the M41Y. The top gun of the Porlac was the 90mm M41P. So you can see that, yeah, the guns are different, so you don't carry it over, but this is the standard gun, so you don't obviously have to research it. But similar in characteristics to the M41P, but it's got slightly better pen for both the standard and the premium rounds. Obviously, it's in a slightly higher tier, so that helps. But it's probably not quite useful as a tier 7 as it was in tier 6, because you're now facing potentially up to tier 9s. So probably the better gun is the second of the two guns. But to do that, you'll need to research the tracks to carry the weight and the turret. Now, the turret's got an interesting choice here. So let's have a quick look at the profile. So this is the standard turret. 360 view range, I think. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, 360 view range. But it's got a cupola, but it's a relatively small one. So let's have a look at mounting the top turret. And hey presto, you've got a big cupola. So this is the trade-off. So better view range, better turret traverse, and it lets you mount the best of the two guns. But the trade-off is you've got this cupola with basically a hit point box on it. So that's your main weak spot there. The armor on the cupola, certainly a lot less than the turret frontal armor. Well, let's have a quick look at the armor characteristics. So 229 on the front of the turret in the second of the two lines, and it's nicely sloped from side to side. And this is going to be the characteristic of the tanks going up the line, that you've got these nicely sloped sides which will ricochet quite easily off each side if the shots don't come in right in the front. On top of the mantle is probably the thickest part, but definitely the cupola is going to be a weak spot. But the other advantage over the Porlac, which had this major limitation of gun depression, is this has got 10 degrees of gun depression. So this lets you now use fairly low levels, and you'll be able to hide your lower front plate. But even though that's nicely got some nice slopes to it as well, but of course the armor of the hull is only 165, so you probably want to try and get into those hold down positions and keep most of your hull obscured anyway. So a bit of a shot trap, maybe a little bit on the sides, absolutely, but the side armor is obviously not as strong. So this is the dilemma you're going to have. Yeah, going for the top gun means you'll need the better turret, but the better turret's got this weakness on it, so it's sort of built-in balancing in that sense. Good thing on the crew side of things is the crew layout is exactly the same as the Porlac, and the key thing being the commander has the radio operator skills, so I'll be able to drag your crew up from the Porlac and just retrain them without having to redo the skills. So that's a sort of fairly brief look at the tank. Unfortunately, at the time of making this, tanks.gg didn't have any data yet to look at, and the World of Tanks wiki also doesn't have any information on this tank, so we're really going by what's in the game. And we're going to have a look at some gameplay now, and you can see how the tank plays, basically, see how the mobility works. It does have fairly low power to weight ratio there, only 12.9, although it's a heavy tank. And let's see if that speed of 40 kilometers per hour can be reached on level ground. All right, so we'll switch out to some gameplay, and we'll have a look at the results from that and see what we can surmise from it. But it's looking pretty good so far, so let's go into gameplay. Okay, we've got the Paris map, and we've got Kirjiel from Fiddy Clan driving the tank. So thanks for the replay. And he's platooned with another M2Y, driven by Hyphen, the same clan. Okay, so looks like he's heading to the heavy line down at sort of K5, K6 area, but we'll see what position he picks to suit the tank. spotted a tank already, puts a quick snapshot but doesn't connect. He was spotted. Alright, so he's going to come behind this building here, which gives you some flexibility. And there we go, snap some trees down to get some extra camo. Not sure how much this will help, but every bit's worth it. Right, yeah, we've got a tank crossing the Tiger 2. And the LTG on an OI, so a bit of a target-rich environment at the moment. He's going to get the LTG, he might just do that, yep, okay, puts a shot in the LTG as well, so getting some shots in here, and he's using the standard round here, so let's see what gun he's using as well. Okay, so he has got the top gun, so still the same damage per shell, 240, but 202 pen for the standard round, and 242 for the premium round. Didn't seem to go. You've got to be careful with the outlines. You get a full outline even though the part of the tank might be behind an obstacle. And that particular time the round bounces off the ONE, but that could be because the tank was angled. But once again, firing the standard rounds here. So just give you an idea of the performance. Now here we go, an IS-3. He's pulling back anyway to make sure he gets the most out of the camo. As soon as the bush goes opaque, you should be invisible once the shot goes in, but again, the shot doesn't appear to hit. But if you look at when he does pull forward, see where the edge of the building is, you've got to basically know exactly where that is when you pull back, and there you go. Hits the LTG, tracks him, and or doesn't track him, actually gets spotting damage from shooting him. Alright, so tanks are starting to dive down to the bottom. Content with poking around that corner and getting shot at, and interestingly, for all that time, Kirjiel wasn't spotted in the M2Y. So I'm not saying it's got great camo, because it certainly doesn't, it's a heavy tank, but that position obviously had a bit of power to it in terms of the camo value. And it's just pulling back here to side scrape. They're going to try and entice the enemy tanks to push in. Here we go. Tiger 2, and he switched to the premium rounds here, going through the front of a Tiger 2. At tier 7, firing on a tier 8. So he's using his higher pen rounds. And that Tiger 2 is really low health now, so definitely there's quite a few one-shots here. So I'm going to see some kills. Oh, that bounced, but he also bounced the incoming round from the Tiger 2. So can he go through the bottom plate this time? He does, leaves him a 1 hit point. That's pretty annoying. And someone takes that 1 hit point, so he's gone. There's the ONE. Didn't go through the frontal armour. And now we've got a Tiger 1. Leaves him on 120 hit points, so another shot there. Is he going to take any damage from anyone at this point? He hasn't lost any hit points, by the way, so it's interesting. And then he goes, bounces the incoming round from the ONE. And what was the ONE firing? It looks like it was heat. So that was an interesting thing. Anyway, he finds good weak spot on the ONE, goes through it, and there he's got the side of the pike nose on the IS-3. Does lose his tracks, but you can see moves forward straight away. Hasn't used his repair kit, so that's the value of the reserve tracks. So he's back to full speed now. So it must have just been a short one. But anyway, team is doing well. Oh, he's only got 1 kill. He's got nearly 3k damage, 2.8 in fact. And they haven't lost a tank yet. So I'm sure Kirjiel doesn't want to be the first to lose his tank, but he's also full health, so he's got plenty of hit points to play with. There's still a T69. In fact, there goes the T69. Tier 8 medium tank, but that didn't go through. So he was firing against standard rounds, but must be hitting the tracks probably. Yeah, just from the edges we're seeing. Yeah, he's going for the sprocket here. And the T69, not necessarily seeing where he is. And he's just putting him one after the other and sets him on fire and gets the kill that way. But he did take a hit that time. And I'm just wondering if we can see where that might have hit. So we can just turn around. Did it go through the cupola? No, it looks like it just went through there on the side of the hull there actually. Just that hole at the bottom there. Anyway, I'll switch back to Kirjiel's view. I have lost a tank now, but it's a Struve S1, Tier 8, and an LC light tank at Tier 8, and another M2Y. So damage total is now moved up to 4k, and there's a bit of a rush here to look at it. Now, look at his speed. He actually is getting to 40 k's just before he hits the slope. So yeah, can hit the speed on a slope. He's obviously got a reasonably trained crew. There's the other M2Y. You can see that's got the top turret on it. It's got that cupola on top. It looks pretty funny when you look at it from this direction. But yeah, once you see it out of line, it's very easy to spot. Now there's the ELC and probably the strip at the back. Oh no, the strip's gone. I just didn't notice him go down. So it's been spotted by the ELC, and there he is. Can he get one shot in? Maybe? No. Oh yes, he does. Gets the key, that shot in, and that brings up 4k. So pretty rapid play there, and he hardly lost any hit points. Okay, so Kirjiel had a pretty good game there, getting 4.3k of damage, which gave him the high caliber award and an Ace Tanker Mastery badge. He managed to get 3 kills there, including that one right at the end. But let's have a look at how the team score worked and how Hyphen might have done. Well, I guess Kirjiel sort of dominated the good position, so he's got the most damage, the target 2, which is a tier 8, by the way, so as bottom tier he came in top with damage. So he got 1733 base, and then Hyphen, who was actually with him most of the time, could only pick up 1.1. So it gives you an idea that, yeah, you've still got to get to a good position, but it looked like the speed was reasonable for a heavy tank. And were there any other? There was definitely M2Ys on the other side, so you've got on the other side another M2Y doing 1138, almost similar to Hyphen. So if we have a look at, say, how many shots they fired, Hyphen fired 8, hit 11, sorry, fired 11, hit 8, and got 5 pens. And what did the other one do? Where are we? Here we go. So he almost the same number, exactly the same number of shots fired, but only hit 6, so not doing as well in terms of accuracy, and penned 5. So pretty much the same damage from the same number of shots. So let's have a look at the costs of running there. So he did fire as many standard rounds as he could, actually, given the tanks he was up against. He had some battle payments as well for actually playing in a platoon. Just shows you the value of playing in a platoon. Didn't spend anything on consumables because he pretty much didn't need to use any of his consumables. And again, that's a sort of a minor advantage of the reserve track. If you don't need to repair your tracks, it might save you 20k a battle. In case he made 63k out of that, so fired 27 shots, 24 hits, and 18 pens. So yeah, excellent game there from Kirjiel, and gives you an idea of the strengths and weaknesses of this tank, I hope. In any case, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. We'll have more great content to follow, and thanks for watching.